Welcome back, darling deviants, to Spectral Margins, where we pull back the veil and lick the window of the soul, just to fog it up a bit. My name is Victoria Voss, wife of the ever-watchful Lucius Voss, the creak in your floorboards, the whisper in your Wi-Fi, and the reason your porcelain doll collection seems to multiply after dark. Tonight, we play games, but not the kind with cheerful tokens and rainbow-colored cards. No. Tonight's games have teeth. And if you're not careful, they'll take more than just your turn. Our first tale is a delicate dance between porcelain and pain. In Glass Eyes, written by Sarah Jane Huntington and read by Victoria Voss, a little girl named Sally has had quite enough of being watched. By dolls, by men, by the judgmental stares of those who don't believe children know what they know. But Sally sees, and she's done playing nice. Settle in and prepare for Glass Eyes. 10-year-old Sally long ago decided she hates eyes. Everything about them unsettles her. Her grandmother once told her, eyes are the windows to the soul. Sally doesn't understand what this means, but she thinks all windows should have curtains, for privacy, or at least net ones. Every night, her lavender-scented mother settles her in bed and kisses her forehead tenderly. "Night-night, little love," she likes to say. "Night, Mother," Sally always answers. It's a game. Sally is clever. She knows her mother's words are forced, acted out each night. She sees the truth in her cold, cornflower blue eyes. Sally frightens her. She blames Sally for what happened in the garden. Once the main light goes out, the room falls into a strange kind of twilight state. A single lamp stands in the corner and casts bizarre shadows across the ceiling and plain walls. She doesn't like the shadows. She wonders if they might thicken, come alive, and gobble her up in one swallow. Then there are all the dolls. Well, the dolls' eyes. She has more dolls than she can count. Her mother lines them all up so they face forward, always watching, never blinking. They sit on shelves aligned around the room, legs draped over, peering. "They can keep an eye on you," her mother says, "and look after you." Sally doesn't think that the dolls have her best interests at heart at all, and she doesn't want to see their souls behind their eyes. Doesn't want them to see hers. She glances at each doll in turn, as they each glare at her. Her grandmother gives her a new doll to add to her collection at least 4 times a year, a collection her father started off before he keeled over and died. Sally pretends to be pleased and excited with every new doll, when in fact, she feels sick. The same kind of feeling she has when her mother drives over a small bridge quickly. Some of the dolls are dressed in old-fashioned clothing. Some wear pretty dresses. One is dressed as a harlequin clown, and one wears the outfit of a chimney sweep. That one even has a tiny broom. "They watch me," Sally once said. "I hate them." "Nonsense," her mother answered. "They can't see. They have glass eyes." For Sally, that made the dolls all the more frightening. She wants to poke the eyes out until nothing but gaping holes remain. She squeezes her own eyes shut tightly and pulls her sheet over her head. She hears movement. Quickly, she pops her head back out. She feels certain one of the dolls has moved, feels sure they are conspiring against her, whispering evil plots. Sally, terrified by the idea, lets off an almighty scream. Her mother races up the stairs and into the room, frantic. "What's wrong?" she yells. "The eyes!" Sally sobs. "All those eyes!" Sally notices her mother's skin is flushed. She has makeup painted on her face like a clown, with smeared lipstick around her mouth. From downstairs, she hears the sound of a man's voice. Her stomach plummets. "Sweetheart, John is here. We're having grown-up time. No more screaming, okay? The dolls are your friends." Sally turns her back. She hates John. Creepy John, with his smells of oil and black-stained hands. Mother says it was because he is a mechanic. He fixes cars. The marks just won't scrub off. She doesn't like his eyes either. He has the kind of eyes you shouldn't look at a little girl with. Her mother closes her bedroom door softly and leaves her alone with multiple pairs of glass eyes staring at her. No, not alone. She has Bessie. Of all her dolls, she only likes one. She's a special doll with secrets. She is the one her father brought home for her when she was 8, a week before he died. The black-haired doll is called Bessie, and Sally takes her everywhere. She likes her eyes, brown ones just like her own, and just like her father's, the deep brown color of chocolate. Bessie is carried to school, even though the other kids laugh. She sits at the table at tea time and sits by the tub when she has her bath. Bessie hates John too. Bessie tells her this. Sally lies awake and listens to the sounds coming from downstairs. Her mother's high-pitched giggles, the sound of deep booming laughter, the clink of glasses with grown-up drinks inside. Her mother says John wants to move in. He gave her a cheap ring that turned her finger green. Sally hates that idea of John spoiling her life more than she hates his eyes. When she said as much to her mother's own eyes narrowed. She got that look. That particular stare that meant she was unhappy. The look that meant she was going to cry until Sally had to say she was sorry, even when she wasn't. Sally wonders if her own eyes are made of glass. She pokes at one, but it hurts, and tears fall down her face. She thinks about asking her teacher at school if she has glass eyes too, the kind one with the long brown hair. She knows that wouldn't be a good idea. She is already in trouble for asking weird questions and doing odd things. It was only Sally and Bessie the doll that wanted to see what was inside the school hamster. Only Sally that tried to look, tried to peer inside. They all said it was because she lost her father so young, and that Sally saw it happen with her very own set of eyes. They were playing catch in the small garden. Her father, and Bessie. Father clutched his heart and staggered forward, down onto the grass. Sally copied him and fell. She lay as still as him. Even Bessie joined in with the new game. After a few minutes, Sally got bored. When she shook her father, he was asleep. She wandered off to look for ladybirds. An hour later, she shook her father again, still asleep. Even her mother's eventual screaming couldn't wake him. Then came lots of tears and people in uniforms. Everyone cried. They had to go to a small building and look at father, sleeping in a coffin. Sally was sure it wasn't him. She felt certain the softly spoken people who placed him in the coffin had made a doll of him instead, with waxy skin and coldness. Maybe glass eyes, too. Sally thinks of all her memories as she tries to count the eyes around her. She gets to 15 and then forgets what comes next. Downstairs, more laughter. Sally thinks about telling her mom about the time John asked her to sit on his knee. She didn't want to, even though he promised her a packet of her favorite sweets. When she did walk over, when she gave in, he put his hand on her leg and moaned. The same noise a person makes when they taste nice ice cream. Sally cried. John laughed. He is mean and horrible, and his breath smells like the food they give their old cat, Bert. John used to be her father's friend. Sally remembers. She remembers everything. She remembers which eyes she hates the most. The eyes of the doll in the white dress. She has eyes the color of grass. Sally doesn't like that. She tried to sleep and block out the noise. She decides she needs to use the bathroom. She worries a lot that she might bump into John because he sleeps in her mother's bed sometimes. Sally knows that because she saw him, and she can hear his awful pig snores. She climbs from her small bed and takes Bessie the doll with her. Each set of eyes around the room follow her every move. "Stop watching me," Sally whispers. It's no use. They never listen. Although they have ears, Sally checked. She opens her door, creeps along the short landing and into the bathroom. She wants a drink of water, but she doesn't dare to ask. Sometimes her mother shouts at her. Instead of getting upset, Sally feels as if she might be boiling inside, boiling like the saucepans do when her mother cooks. She leaves the bathroom as stealthily as she can. She freezes as she hears a creak on the stairs. She knows which stair it is. Step number 7. John appears. "Hello, Sally," he leers. "Night," she mumbled. "Hold on. Do you want me to tuck you in?" John's voice is slurring. Sally doesn't know why. "No," she says. She decides that if he tries to come near her, she will scream until her mother comes. She knows she will do something, even though she looks at her differently since father fell asleep in the garden forever. "Aw, don't be like that, little lady. I'm gonna be your new daddy. How about that?" His eyes are blue. Crafty, vile eyes. Wide ones. Nosy ones. Wretched and awful. Sally doesn't want a new father. She wishes John were dead. She said that once, and her mother slapped her hard across the face. Still, she can think it. No one can tell. With Bessie by her side, Sally feels stronger. John stands at the top of the stairs and wobbles. "Push him," a barely there voice says. She doesn't. She goes into her bedroom and closes the door. Sally would rather be looked at by the doll's eyes than John's. "Kill him," Bessie tells her. "Shh," Sally warns. No one can know Bessie is alive. No one can know she speaks, even though her mouth doesn't open. She came alive the day after her father went to sleep. Her mother said he went to sleep forever. Sally knows that isn't true because even Sleeping Beauty woke up after 100 years. She climbs back into bed with a hand placed firmly over Bessie's mouth. "We're safe," she tells her doll. "All safe." Sally watches the multiple dolls watch her. She wonders if they are planning something terrible. She worries that if she falls asleep, she might wake up to all these dolls climbing all over her, biting like rats do. "Kill John," Bessie says as soon as her mouth is free. "Be quiet," she warns. Her body turns cold as her door handle gets turned. She squeezes her eyes shut tightly and prays for her father to wake up so he can rescue her. "Sally," comes the sound of John's scratchy voice. He sings her name, and the noise makes her brain itch. He steps into her room slowly. Just one step. Sally holds her breath. She grips Bessie tight as a tear slips down her face. "John?" She hears the voice of her mother. Her heart soars in relief. The door shuts with a click. "Kill him," Bessie repeats. "Yes, okay," Sally answers. It isn't hard for her to stay awake with all those eyes watching her. Sally waits for the sound of her mother and John going to bed. She takes hold of Bessie firmly and carries her downstairs. "What shall we do?" Sally asks. Now Bessie has that look. The look where words aren't needed. But her eyes hold a sparkle of mischief, a glint of revenge. Bessie lifts her stuffed arm and points to the box of matches. Sally knows she isn't allowed to go near them, mustn't go near them. Still, she hitches up her long nightdress and reaches for the box. She knows how to make fire with each match, has seen her mother do it 100 times. She strikes one sharply and watches the flame burn. She sees the orange light reflected in Bessie's eyes. She likes the pretty color. She blows it out, just like when she has birthday candles, and lights another. She throws it on the old sofa, lights another, and repeats. Tendrils of smoke begin to rise. Sally feels a bubble of joy. John won't want to move in when they don't have a house to live in. She starts to laugh wildly. She lights more matches and places them on the soft, fluffy cushions. She coughs. The smoke starts to hurt her chest. "Get outside," Bessie whispers. There is an urgency to her tone. Sally does as she is told, pays attention. She can't reach the catch on the front door, so she goes to the back one and flings it open. She lets the old cat Bert out too, watches him flee into the night. She likes Bert's eyes. The fresh air feels nice. She runs to the front garden to watch. She feels excited, like the time she went to a firework display and gazed at the roaring hot bonfire. By the time neighbors come streaming out of their houses, by the time loud fire engines come blazing down the street, the house is the biggest bonfire she could have ever imagined. Flames lick and consume every inch with wanton glee. Thick black smoke fills the sky. Sally wonders if it might reach the moon. A blanket gets wrapped around her. She gets lifted up in the air and pulled away. "Is anyone inside?" a lady shouts. Sally doesn't like her wild eyes, so she cries until the woman leaves. The elderly woman from down the street, the one with all the cats, comes to hold her hands. "I'll keep you safe," she says. Her eyes are different. One is almost white, the other is a glassy blue. Sally decides she likes her. "Stay with her," Bessie whispers. So Sally does. She stays with the nice lady with the odd eyes. Together, they watch massive hose pipes put the inferno out, until her grandmother arrives with her red, wet, and sore eyes. "What happened, Sally?" her grandmother wails. A man in a uniform stands with her. He watches her like her dolls did. Sally forgets about the matches. She thinks of all the glass eyes burning until they vanish into ash piles. She almost smiles. "Say John did it," Bessie hisses quietly. "John? It was John who did it, Grandmother," Sally repeats. "He played with matches. I saw him. He had a grown-up drink and shouted. Me and Bessie the doll ran." It is then that Sally decides eyes are actually extremely useful. With a keen pair of eyes, you can lie about what you saw, and no one will ever know. A brain might record it, but no one can check or play it back to see. "Are you sure?" the uniformed man asks. "You saw him?" "I saw him with my own eyes," Sally lies. "He did it on purpose." "She means on purpose," her grandmother clarifies. "Who was inside?" the uniformed man asks. "They found 2 bodies." He tries to say that last line quietly and fails. Sally hears and answers him. "Mother was," she says. At this, her grandmother gasps and wobbles. "My dolls and John. Bert the cat ran away." "Sorry for your loss," the man says. Sally doesn't understand. What loss? Bert is fine, and she hated John. She hated the dolls. She hated her mother's eyes, too. Her mother tried to replace her father. She could see the guilt and selfishness in her windows to the soul. Her mother blamed her for letting father go to sleep. Blamed her with cold, narrowed eyes. "Come on, child. I'll look after you. I'll keep you safe," her grandmother sobs. Sally looks at Bessie. For the first time in her stuffed life, the doll smiles and winks. That was Glass Eyes, written by Sarah Jane Huntington, brought to us by Velix Books, and performed by myself, Victoria Voss. In our next story, The Kick Game, written by Ryan Major and performed by Geoff Sturtevant, we meet another young player, a teen enticed by easy money, digital dares, and a mysterious user named MaxStacks719. Harmless at first, until things get real. And by real, I mean felonious, anonymous, and permanently on the record.
If you have received a message from MaxStacks719 on Kik, don't respond. They want you to play the Kick game, and it isn't what it seems. I've never thought of myself as a stupid kid, but today I know I am. I started playing the Kick game. Now I'm in deep shit. It all started like almost anything in my life does. I was bored on a Saturday morning and playing around on my cell phone. My parents were out of town for a work conference, and I was home alone for the week. It was spring break, and most of my friends were down at the coast with their parents or other classmates, digging their toes into the sand. My broke ass was sitting at home wishing I had gotten a job and saved up some money to go with them. I had already made my morning rounds on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, but the photos of my friends having fun in far-off places had already pissed me off. So I decided repeating that cycle wouldn't improve things. The microwave beeped from the kitchen, signaling that my breakfast sandwich had been nuked to perfection, so I tossed my phone on the couch and went to grab it. As I was settling the hot plate on the counter and pouring a glass of juice, I heard a ping from my phone in the living room. I headed back in to see if one of my friends was taunting me with pictures from the beach. I scooped up the phone and saw the Kick notification on my screen, saying I had a new message from MaxStack719. It wasn't a screen name I knew, but I decided to check it anyway just in case. Opening up the app, I hit the Accept Chat button and read the message. MaxStack719. Hey there, want to play the Kick game? Easy money, and you can quit anytime. I rolled my eyes at the low-effort message from a bot that was no doubt going to try to sell me porn or get a bank transfer number. Without fail, I got about 7 messages a day like this, trying to link me to some stupid crap. On the off chance there was an actual human behind it that I could mess with, I would often message back to waste their time. Fake Kick name. Hell yeah, bro. Let's play. How do I win this easy money? I waited a few minutes, but didn't get a response. The bot was probably broken or poorly programmed like most of them. So I started eating my sandwich. A few bites in, I heard the ping again. MaxStack719. Take a picture holding up 3 fingers. Place a ring of any type on one of them. Once we've received it, we will send you an Amazon gift card code for $50. Hold up 3 fingers with a ring on? What the hell? I went to my parents' room and fished a ring out of my mother's jewelry box and slid it on the end of my middle finger and took the picture. The ring didn't slide down completely, but the message didn't say it had to. I sent the picture to MaxStack719 and went back to my sandwich. There was no way I would get the gift card, but it had only cost me about 2 minutes of my life, so it was worth a shot. A few minutes later, I received a message back with what looked like a gift card code. I thought it was probably a fake. Firing up my Amazon app, I copied and pasted the code into the redemption box and waited. To my shock, my available balance went from $0 to $50. Who knew that kickbots actually paid out? My phone pinged and I opened the new message from MaxStack719. MaxStack719. Great job! If you want to keep playing the Kick game for more great prizes, then please take a picture of yourself holding a hammer in your right hand and send it to us for another $50 Amazon gift card. Immediately, I ran to the garage and dug through my dad's old toolboxes until I found a shabby old claw hammer. I held it up in the light in my right hand and took a picture. As I headed back inside, I sent the picture to MaxStack719 and waited patiently. Just like the last time, I received a new code a few minutes later and added it to my Amazon account. It was verified, and my balance shot up to $100. I was dumbstruck. MaxStack719. Good job, fake Kick name. Are you ready to make some real money now? Fake Kick name. Hell yes. Keep it coming. MaxStack719. Use a Sharpie to draw a smiley face on the head of the hammer. Take the hammer to your nearest gas station parking lot and take a picture. The picture must include the street signs for intersecting streets. One of our Kick game representatives will go and verify it is there. If they find it, you will receive a redemption code for a $500 Visa gift card. I didn't even bother to respond. My legs were pumping the pedals on my bike within minutes of receiving the last message. The hammer was in my backpack. It bounced against my back as I pedaled toward the nearest pump and go that I could think of. Luckily, it sat on the corner of an intersection. When I got there, I found a concrete retainer to sit the hammer on where you could see both the street signs as well as the pump and go logo sign. I placed the hammer on the retainer and snapped a picture. Uploading it as quickly as I could, I waited for a follow-up message. That's when I remembered they had to send a representative to find it. I pedaled my bike home and watched a few hours of television. My phone sat silently beside me on the couch. I stared at it, willing it to ping, telling me my gift card had arrived. I waited hours, but no response. Drifting off to a mid-morning nap, my phone suddenly buzzed again. When I opened Kik, I saw a code for a Visa gift card. Heading to the website, I was amazed once again to see the code worked. Max Stack 719. That's all for now. We will be back later this afternoon with more exciting opportunities. I sat on the couch and started browsing Amazon for opportunities to waste my newly found money. It still wasn't quite afternoon when my phone pinged again. Looking at the username from the message, I saw it was from MaxStacks19 again, so I opened it immediately. MaxStacks719. We're ahead of schedule here at the Kik game. Are you ready to win some really big money? Fake Kik name? Fake Kik name. 100%. Just name it. MaxStacks719. Go back to the gas station where you left the hammer and check beside the dumpster. There is a brand new, sealed pack of cigarettes just behind it. Video yourself smoking 5 of them in less than 10 minutes and win a $1,000 Visa gift card. Be sure to drop them on the ground and stomp them out. Fire safety is priority number 1. I hesitated for a moment after reading that one. It hadn't occurred to me earlier when I had dropped off the hammer, but MaxStacks719 had said a Kik game representative lived in my city. I hadn't even questioned how they knew what city I was in. The money I was winning had blinded me to some potential concerns I should have had, and they were just now catching up with me. Fake Kik name. Thanks for all the money, but how did you know I was in a city where you had a representative? MaxStacks719. Trial and error, my friend. Sometimes we lose a bit of money after the 3-finger and hammer picture verification test. It turns out that a lot of Kik game players aren't in the right cities. When you sent the picture with the cross streets and gas station, we were able to Google the location and verify you are in an applicable city. At the time, it seemed like a half-ass answer, but I'd seen hundreds of weird stories online where some YouTuber or influencer ran social experiments like this, and figured I had just stumbled on one. I decided to keep playing along and headed back to the gas station on my bike. Even though I had never smoked a cigarette before, I figured 5 for $1,000 was a small price to pay. When I arrived at the gas station, I pulled my bike around back and leaned it on a wooden fence surrounding the dumpster. Just beside it on the ground, I saw a sealed pack of cigarettes with a lighter on top. I opened the package and stuck one in my mouth before turning on my camera and lighting it up. The acrid smoke made me cough, but I adjusted after a few puffs. As I smoked the cigarettes and stomped them out, I just stared into the camera. I felt stupid and a little freaked out now that I was there. The cigarettes tasted awful and made my eyes water, but I just kept lighting them and puffing away. Eventually, I figured out I didn't even have to inhale them, since you wouldn't be able to tell from the video if I did anyway. After I was done, I crushed out the last smoldering butt and pointed the camera down to the pile on the ground to show I had stomped them out. As I was videoing the pile of cigarette butts, someone opened the back door of the convenience store. A middle-aged man with a long ponytail and a tattoo of a snake around his neck stepped outside and gave me an angry look.
"What are you doing, kid?"
the man asked in a gravelly voice.
"Get the hell out of here. You ain't old enough to be smoking."
I sent the video to MaxStack719, but didn't wait for a response. Instead, I just got on my bike and started pedaling back home, wondering why someone was paying a kid for pictures of a hammer and to smoke cigarettes behind a gas station. My stomach was in knots from a combination of the smoking and uneasy feeling I was starting to get from MaxStack719's weird tasks. The gas station attendant discovering me freaked me out quite a bit as well. When I walked back into the house after putting up my bike, I had 2 messages from MaxStack719. The first was another Visa code, which checked out like all the others. The second was a new task. MaxStack719. Great job so far. One last task, and this one is for $2,500 in Visa gift card prizes. Delete this conversation and send me a screenshot of the blank screen when completed. Once received, you will receive your final reward. I just wanted to be done with this uneasy sensation, so I deleted the conversation and took the screenshot. After I was done, I took a screenshot of the last blank chat window and sent it back to MaxStack719. That was the last message I sent or received from them. 15 or 20 minutes later, I got a message from a user named Final Reward 719. I opened it with a sense of unease, but it was another Visa gift code. This time, I didn't even bother checking it on the website because I knew it was good. I didn't respond either. There was no point, and I was done with this. Later that night, I was scrolling through TikTok, watching the usual videos of bottle flips, awkward dancing, and filtered women lip-syncing to popular songs, when a new Kick notification popped up on my phone. This time it was from someone called Look What You Did, 719. I opened the app to see the message, and it just showed a JPEG icon. So I tapped it, opened the picture, and nearly vomited. A man was crumpled on a tile floor in a pool of blood. His long ponytail was caked in crimson, and you could make out the head of a snake tattoo wrapping around his throat. His face was pulverized into a liquid pile of meat and brain matter. There was a hammer propped up on its claws, head up and dripping with blood. I could see the faint outline of a smiley face on it through the gore. A few cigarette butts were sprinkled around the body. I was still fighting the urge to puke when my phone pinged a final time. Look What You Did, 719. Thanks for playing the Kick game. Be careful out there, friend. I don't know what to do now. My fingerprints and DNA are all over the scene. Do I call the cops? What evidence do I have to show them? Maybe the gift cards will lead back to someone, or they could track an IP address from the messages. But maybe they can't. I don't know, and I'm scared. If someone messages you and asks if you want to play the Kick game, delete it immediately.
That was The Kick Game, written by Ryan Major, brought to us by Velix Books, and performed by Geoff Sturtevant. 2 children, 2 games, 2 very different prizes. One left with a smile and a singed conscience. The other with blood on his hands and a hammer that remembers. So, if you find a doll staring too long, or a stranger offering gift cards through a glowing screen, do yourself a favor. Blink, delete, and back away slowly. Or don't. Who am I to interrupt your fun? Until next time, my lovely little deviants, I am your guest host, Victoria Voss. The glitch in your parental controls, the flame in your dollhouse, and the terms of service you definitely didn't read. So sleep tight now. Just don't answer any messages that say,
"Wanna play?"